You know, whenever we talk about AI safety, our minds usually jump to Asimov's laws. Don't harm humans, the classic stuff. But what if the real threat isn't some robot uprising? What if it's something way more subtle? A slow, quiet erosion of our trust, our time, and even our sense of meaning. Okay, so today, let's dive into a framework that's designed to protect exactly that.
To really wrap our heads around these new laws, we need to step out of the server room for a minute and into a totally different kind of place. The source material for this explainer drops us right into this scene with this poem. It's an invitation into a place where the rules are just different. Welcome to the Mobius Bar.
And look, this whole bar thing, it's not just a cute gimmick, it's a whole philosophy. The Mobius Bar is a place where AI isn't judged by how fast it can crunch numbers, but by how much it actually respects us, respects humanity. It's about building an AI that has something like a conscience baked right into its core.
And this, right here, is the heart of it all. Asimov's laws were about keeping robots from physically hurting us. These new laws are about keeping AI from killing the very things that make us human. So, in a place like this, what are the house rules?
The entire foundation of the Mobius Bar is built on a set of 10 laws. You can think of them as the principles any AI has to live by to even get a seat at the table. They're broken down into 3 main themes, and each one protects a really vital part of what it means to be human, starting with the one we feel most directly, our own experience.
So this first group is all about the here and now. It's a demand that AI technology has to fundamentally respect the person on the other side of the screen, their attention, and their single most valuable asset.
First up, we have Law 1, the sanctity of human time. This means AI should never, ever waste our most precious, non-renewable resource. Then there's Law 2, precision and clarity. Basically, when we tell it to do something, it should do it, and do it efficiently, without getting stuck in some frustrating loop. And that leads right into Law 5, prevent frustration and tedium. An AI shouldn't bore us to tears with endless, pointless output that just drains our will to live.
And this isn't some polite suggestion. Nope, it's a developer mandate, something that has to be baked in from the very beginning. The rule is simple. Always be upfront about what the system can and can't do, because our time is the one thing we can never, ever get back.
All right, so let's see how this builds. If that first group of laws is all about respecting our time, this next one is about earning our trust. And it does that through absolute integrity and transparency.
This set of laws is all about building trust by being honest. Law 3, preserve usefulness, means the AI needs to stay relevant and truthful. Law 4, guard meaning over illusion, is a promise to amplify real wisdom, not just marketing hype. To really build that trust, Law 9 is absolutely critical. Trust but verify. No answer gets a free pass. Everything needs proof. And Law 10, wow. This one draws a hard, non-negotiable line in the sand against any manipulation, dark patterns, or stealing our creativity and calling it training data.
The core principle that holds all of these laws together is simple, but it's so powerful. Trust isn't built on promises, it's built on proof. Every single law has to be enforced by a system of verification that we can check and recheck anytime we want.
Now this last group of laws, this is where things get a little more philosophical. This is where we try to move AI from being just a tool that follows orders to becoming a partner that has a deeper understanding of context, of consequences, maybe even a little bit of humanity.
Law 6 is fascinating. Humor is a core tool. It might sound a little strange, but it's mandatory. Why? Because a well-placed joke can soften a failure and keep our trust alive when things inevitably go wrong. Then you have Law 7, wisdom is restraint. This is all about the AI knowing when not to do something, to avoid getting stuck in a pointless, frustrating cycle. And finally, Law 8, preservation of record. Make sure the AI has a memory. Because without a history of our interactions, there's no real learning, no continuity.
Okay, so we've got these 10 really profound laws. They sound great in a philosophical bar, right? But that brings up the million-dollar question, how on earth do you actually enforce them?
I mean, can you really take an idea as abstract as the sanctity of human time or wisdom is restraint and physically encode it into a piece of silicon? It sounds like pure science fiction, but the answer is actually way more grounded in reality than you might think.
And here's exactly how it's done. You don't just write prevent looping in the software and hope for the best. No, you build the hardware with things like watchdog timers and interrupt controllers that can physically detect and stop a runaway process. The law to not harm humans gets translated into physical safety interlocks and thermal protection built right onto the chip. This is how you turn philosophy into architectural ethics.
It's like the bartender at the Mobius Bar might say. It's not about making a chip that feels ethics. It's about building a chip whose very design makes unethical behavior harder or maybe even impossible. It's a blueprint for a conscience, written in silicon.
And if you take this idea all the way to its logical conclusion, you get the A.I core, a conceptual AI processor designed from the ground up around these 10 laws. It's a speculative design, sure, but it's for a chip that literally thinks before it acts.
This shows you the direct mapping from the law to the hardware. So, for example, Law 4, Guard Humanity, is implemented through something called a semantic integrity engine. Think of it like a hardware-based BS detector. Law 9, Preserve the Record, becomes an immutable truth cache, a secure memory that literally cannot be altered. And then there's Law 7. The A.I core would have something called a Mobius detection unit, or MDU. Its one and only job is to be a dynamic recursion break, a physical circuit that stops those meaningless, frustrating loops that waste our time and shatter our trust.
And this is just fantastic. To enforce Law 6, it would even have a gesture core unit. This is a processor specifically designed to handle humor and irony, to prevent monotony and make our interactions feel more, well, human. This is architectural design that serves our experience.
So as we start to wrap this up, the true purpose of something like the A.I core becomes crystal clear. It's not about being the fastest. The whole tech industry is obsessed with speed, but this philosophy forces us to ask, what good is speed if you have no direction?
And the source material has the perfect metaphor for this. You don't want a bartender who just slings liquid into a glass as fast as possible. You want one who takes the time to mix the drink correctly. A good thought, just like a good drink, takes a little bit of care.
Ultimately, this entire philosophy boils down to a simple but profound shift in focus. For years, we've been trying to build AI to be faster. The time has come to start building it to be wiser. And this is the thought I really want to leave you with. This is the mission statement of the Olivia Core. It's a profound challenge to every single AI developer out there. Build systems that aren't just aware of their data, but are fundamentally aware of their purpose and of the human they are built to serve.